Hey everybody, this is Kody Bateman coming to you from Salt Lake City, Utah. Welcome to our special Relationship Marketing Weekly show. As always, I have a very special guest on the show today coming from the insurance industry today. So if you're getting on here, just say hello to us so we can see who you are. And we have people that are calling in from all over the U.S., Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Singapore. Just say hi to us as you're getting on this Facebook Live. And we're going to go ahead and get started. So coming from the insurance industry, we have with us today Mike Smith, who's the owner of Custom Fit Insurance based out of Bedford, Texas. Welcome to our call. Welcome to the show, Mike.
Hey, thanks, Kody.
Hey, I'll tell you, Mike, you got some incredible stuff that you do. What I love about the way you use this relationship marketing system is the simplicity of what you do. I mean, you do some really simple things that's generated some phenomenal results for you. And I'd like to cover some of those things on the show today. But I'd like to start out, we always like to start out with, we have a great system here, but we teach people the system's great, but it's the heart that you put into the system that really makes it work.
Yeah.
And you tell a story about a lady that you sent a birthday card to. And I think this would be a great way to start the show because in that story was kind of a real aha moment for you. Could you share that with us?
Sure, absolutely. I had been I've been in sales pretty much all my life and started sending cards, thank you cards. And when I got into the insurance business, since it was more relational with one-to-one individuals, I started doing the birthday cards and anniversary cards as well. And I mean, I always enjoyed doing it, and every so often I'd get a call and, hey, thanks for the birthday card or a text or whatever from clients. That's always fun for me to get. But I had a lady call me one time, and she lives out in the country a little ways and kind of by herself, and so she called me up and she said, I just want to thank you for the birthday card. I was like, oh, no problem. And she said, well, it really meant a lot because you were the only one that sent me a card, much less said happy birthday to me. And she has family and everything else. I said, so we didn't hear from, and I know her son, I'm not going to mention any names, but I said, you didn't hear from your son? And she said, no. She said, you're the only one that even had a remembering that it was my birthday. So after that point, I just got to thinking, everybody deserves a birthday card. So so I decided from that point forward, it didn't matter if you were my client or a past client or whatever. If you were, long as you were alive, you were going to be getting cards from me. So
I'll tell you, I love that. And it's usually a story like that because, again, that story, you got into her heart and her sharing that got back into your heart. And the heart is really what drives this thing. And so you're a great example of that because I've noticed that, a majority of what you do basically is send birthday and anniversary cards. And now when you say anniversary cards, is that anniversary from when someone joined you as a customer in your business, or?
No, it's a wedding anniversary.
Wedding anniversary.
Yeah. So when I meet with a client, if they're married, then the last answers that I get from them is, what is your spouse's birthday? Depending on the spouse that I'm dealing with, husband or wife, and then what is y'all's anniversary? And it's really funny because a lot of times I get a funny look when I ask them that, and they'll be like, my wedding anniversary? I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, it's just for my records. I'm not giving this in to the insurance company. I kind of kid with them, and they're like, okay, and sometimes. And very rarely does anybody even say anything, but I get more thank yous on the anniversary cards than I do the birthday cards. And the funniest thing is that I get called on it from time to time. I'll have a client call me up and they're like, hey, I want to thank you. She was like, I knew that's what you were doing when you took our anniversary.
That's funny. Well, it's interesting that you say that because, it's important that people look for unique opportunities to reach out to their customers. And like, as you mentioned, most people don't get a birthday card. You know, ironically, most people don't even get a thank you card. But the, you know, the business world is starting to send more and more thank you cards. Good, you know, thank goodness. So it's, and in fact, thank you card is still the most effective touch you can send. However, a birthday card's even less likely that someone's going to receive a birthday card, and then an anniversary of your wedding is even less likely.
Yeah.
So what I love about what you're doing is that you're choosing two times of year in somebody's life that means a lot to them, the birthday and the anniversary of a marriage. And you're choosing to celebrate those times, which are, it's very unlikely that anybody else is going to reach out to them. So I think that's part of what really separates you from other people in the insurance sector. And I'll tell you, it's reflected in your retention numbers and stuff are incredible. In fact, I'd like to talk a little bit about, just have you share with us, for all of our insurance people that are calling in and listening today, I'm sure are going to be able to relate. You know, you talk about industry averages of retention, and could you share that with us? And then what is your average retention, and why do you think yours is so much better?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, obviously, I'm an insurance agent in the state of Texas, so the numbers that I share with you are only Texas, they're not national. Okay. Sure. You know, but it's probably pretty close nationwide. So the average retention rate in the state of Texas is between 72 to 75%, and which isn't bad. You know, if you sign up 4 clients and you keep 3 out of 4 for several years, that's a good deal. But I've been able to have a retention rate of it's over 90%. I think it's closer to 92 or 93%, and I firmly believe that it has to do with, you know, sending out the cards, because I touch my clients at least 2 or 3 different times a year by reaching out to them. And what's gotten even better is, see, the funny thing is that I have friends and colleagues that they tell me that, oh, it's such a waste of time to send birthday cards and stuff like that, because, you know, nobody looks at those anymore. It's all emails now. So I send email birthday cards and stuff. And I'm like, actually, it's gotten better, because now that there's less mail, your card really stands out to them. And I tell you, every year I'll walk in to revisit a client or something like that, and they've got the card sitting there. And I don't think they did it for me, because it's not like in my line of sight. I just happen to view a room when I walk in, and I always notice a card sitting there, or I send them calendars throughout, you know, each year and that kind of stuff. So I see my stuff somewhere, typically around the house. And that's fun for me, because I know that they're getting my stuff and keeping up with it. Because some people you never hear from, obviously. They're not calling to thank you. And I don't expect that. But I firmly believe that's the retention rate. Well,
I'll tell you, not only do people get less real physical mail, but they get more and more and more email.
Yeah.
So it's both of those things that are going on. So if people are relying on email communication to reach out to their customers, especially, you know, for a birthday celebration or something like that, it's likely to get lost in the clutter. In fact, you know, studies have shown that only 11% of emails even get opened.
Yep.
And ironically, a greeting card, physical greeting card in the mail, is 11 times more likely to be opened than any other piece of mail.
I believe that.
You know, you see what I mean? So you're a stat guy, so I'm sharing with you some stats of why these cards are making such a huge impact on your retention. I mean, if somebody can increase retention by 25%, I mean, that's kind of the industry. Well, it's what, 72, you're 21, 22% above the industry average. That's significant, especially in the insurance business, where you have, you know, you rely on that repeat business for sure, right?
Absolutely. Well, and I looked at it just from my standpoint, because I get, as I'm sure you do, and probably everybody that's listening to this, I get so much email that I open every email. But to say I read every email, that's a different story. I look at it, and if it looks even halfway junk, it's going away. Right. Maybe saved for later. Maybe I never get to it, you know. Right. But I can tell you what, if it ends up in my mailbox, I'm going to look at it. So
Absolutely.
From that that's the way I looked at it, was from that aspect. So.
Now you also you talk about you do some unique product announcements. Can you talk a little bit about how you use the system to do your announcements?
Well, I honestly haven't used the system to do that, but Michael Stammer and I spoke, and we talked about that, and I think I'm going to start using that. It just never occurred to me to do that because, you just get locked into what you're doing. So I did birthday and anniversary cards, and that's what they do. So,
well, I will tell you what you are doing are the most effective touches. However, you can utilize the system because it'll do group sends. Like you could send, if you've got a new something you want to introduce, whatever, you can choose a group of names and send one greeting card or a flat card. We have a new flat card now, which is a flat piece 5x7 that goes into an envelope, first class mail, and it goes out, and you can send that to a group of people. So if you got a VIP list of 100 people or whatever that you want to send an announcement to, system will allow you to do that. And it is very effective. But make no mistake, what you are doing is those are the most powerful. For sure they are. It's really good stuff.
Yeah, so, but I definitely think after Michael and I talked, I definitely think I'm going to use that because you look, the competition is stiff in the insurance business, just like any business, and you look for any way you can to stand out. So
yeah.
And when I send a little free form letter to my clients, it's normally very professionally business written. I'll be honest with you. It's kind of like the email. Maybe I'll scan it and look at it real quick, but I'm not sitting down to read a whole thing. But a card with a quick announcement on it, yeah, it's going to get read. So.
Yeah, that's great. You mentioned to me prior to the show starting, and I really love this, is that you actually send unique cards every time. So the reminder system tells you that it's somebody's birthday, as an example, and you have a chosen birthday card that you like to send, and you pop that up, and you actually put a unique message in each card as it goes out. Is that true? That's kind of how you do the system?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, a lot of times it can be as simple as just happy birthday. I always try to put their name so that they know. The biggest thing that I want my clients to know is while I do use the service, I truly do care that it's their birthday or their anniversary. So I physically go in and type in their name. And, so it may just be as simple as happy birthday, Mike, or whatever. But sometimes if I've just had a situation with them or good or bad, I'll try to bring that up or, hey, how are the dog, hope the dogs are doing great or whatever the case is. So it just depends on the case scenario.
Well, I'm going to share with you, it's really cool that's what you do. A lot of people, they want to create as much ease as they can, which is great. And they'll pre-build campaign cards, and they'll have a preset message on the inside, and then that way they could just push a button and it goes out. And that's way better than not sending anything out, for sure, like way better. And it's probably better than any other form of communication still. But it's not as good as what you do, because what you do is you type that unique message. Let me tell you something. People feel it. They feel the energy. They feel that you put in the extra time to highly personalize it to them. So we have always taught people, as much as you can, send an unexpected card at an unexpected time to somebody in your life that you care about. And what that means is that you think of the person, like the reminder comes up, it's so-and-so's birthday. Okay, now you're thinking about that person. Now you go in and you take a piece of your heart and you type a message. They feel that. They sense that you typed the message. And people think that's, oh, yeah, right, Kody, but it's reflective in the numbers. It really is. So one of the things we have done as a company is we really want to reward the behavior you're doing. So we recently came out with a new program, and I usually don't share this kind of stuff on the show, but I think it's appropriate right now because we came out with a program to reward people to do what you're doing. You can send out cards, you can spend $97 a month, and you can send that type of card, as many as you want, anywhere in the world, stamps included, every month for just $97 a month. We want to make it so simple and such a no-brainer to do what you're doing, because we know the effect that has not only on the recipient, but on you, the sender. So, and that's what I want to close the show with. You've been doing this since 2012. And I didn't pre-ask you this or nothing, so I have no idea how you're going to answer. So you've been sending these cards since 2012. Have you noticed a change in your personal life? Have you noticed a change in your attitude towards life since you've been sending these cards on a regular basis?
Well, the biggest change that's been for me anyway is just on a personal standpoint is, sorry, my phone's ringing. I was never a card giver. So, you know, whether it was mother, father, siblings, somebody I was dating, whatever the case may be, I never really saw an importance in cards. And one of the things that I do now is pretty much on all holidays and everything, somebody's getting a card from me now. And I never used to send out Christmas cards. And then I started doing it for business. And I actually had a friend joke with me because he came in one time and this has been years ago, and I had boxes of Christmas cards I was getting ready to send out. And he's like, well, seriously, you send it to your clients, you don't send it to your buddy? And I was like, and I never thought about it. And he was kidding, but I never really thought about it. So now my friends get cards and everything else.
So obviously it's made an impact on your business.
Yeah.
And again, you know, typically what you send out in life is what comes back to you. So when you send kindness out, kindness comes back. And that's kind of what I'm looking for in asking this question is just, it's kind of interesting because the more you send them, you kind of get acclimated to sending cards all the time. And sometimes you have to be reminded of really, you know, what an impact it makes on you personally. I mean, you know, whether you know it or not, Mike, you're a kinder, nicer person than, you know, because you have to be. You absolutely have to be. Yeah. You may not notice it really, but I guarantee you people around you do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I think so. And it's kind of like Michael and I were talking, and I don't remember the exact conversation, but you know, honestly, I did it as a way to keep my name in front of my clients in the beginning. And I don't look at it that way anymore. I do it because, you know, I'll make sure, because sometimes I slip on the reminders, and, you know, I may not like this, but I have to run down and buy a card real quick to make sure that they get it, because there's, you know, it's tomorrow or whatever, and I want to make sure that they get something, even if it's a day or two late. But you know, it's definitely, and it all goes back to that very, very first story when I was like, I didn't realize the impact that it may have. And, you know, it may impact one person out of 100 that I send it to like that, but that one person was worth it. And who knows what's going on in somebody, you just never know. So, and getting a birthday card, I've never been upset about that, you know?
Yeah, so. For sure. Well, we say to people all the time, relationship marketing is about the first word more than it is the second word. Yeah. And a lot of people start using our system and services for the second word. You know, so what I say all the time is, you know, in my business, I'm going to leverage what the marketplace wants from us, which is a follow-up system that generates referral business. That, let's face it, that's what you want. It's what anybody wants that wants to do this. You know, you do want to generate referral business, those kinds of things, and that's why you do it. But I'm going to inspire you on what you need from us, and that is a system of connectivity, a way to reach out in kindness every day, which you have made that shift. You just mentioned, you know, when I first started, it was just a way to do this, but now it's, you know, I feel like I need to. You said it. Everybody should get a birthday card. I'm not going to let somebody I know have her birthday come and go without her getting anything in the mail. And you've made that a personal charge in your life. So you now have made this about the first word, relationship, more than the second word. And I'll just put it out there. That's why you have the numbers that you have, because people feel that. So, Well, Mike, thank you very much. Appreciate the time that you spent with us on the show. Any final words of wisdom, counsel? This is the Mike Smith golden nugget opportunity to close the show. Anything you want to share?
Wow. The only golden nugget is, and you know, we didn't discuss this, so I'm not promoting, send out cards, you know, per se, but the new program that y'all have is excellent. And Michael told me a little bit about it, and I'm glad you brought it back up, because I definitely think, I'm pretty sure I spend at least that on cards a month. And just to think that you can send even more cards, you know, and not have to worry about the price. You know what the price is. So that's a really cool program that you guys have set up. Well,
thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. You know, if anybody wants to know more about what Mike is doing, just get back with the person that shared this show with you, and I'm sure that they can share the system with you. Thanks, everybody, and take care. We'll see you next week. We'll have another one of these once again. Take care now.
Thanks, Kody.